Pale Court mod is probably the most expansive mod in Hollow Knight, adding 5 challenging new boss fights and 4 brand new charms. It's clear how much passion went into this project. And the most amazing part is, all of it was made by dedicated fans. Fans who simply wanted to give other Hollow Knight players the chance to feel something again, as they waited patiently for Silksong. Seeing as how I have nothing better to do with my life, today I decided to play through this mod and experience the creativity firsthand. After all, what else am I gonna do? Homework? And I know what you might be thinking, that I'm just stalling by playing a bunch of random mods so I don't have to pay the $20 for Silksong. And you know what? Maybe I am. But $20 is a lot of money. Seriously, loyal viewer, let me get real for a second. Do you know how much you could buy for $20 whole dollars? With that money, you could buy like a 2,000 square foot house in Florida, or 3 Mr. Beast bars. I said that so my video would gain more traction, because I'm a YouTuber. But anyway, I'm gonna stop stalling. Let's get started with my playthrough of Hollow Knight's fan-made DLC, the Pale Court mod. After taking a moment to contemplate life itself, listening to the sublime title screen music, I loaded into my main save file. The first thing I noticed was the 4 brand new empty charm slots. Radical! The second thing I noticed was, well, I'll let the recording me explain it. So I've been looking around in Godhome a little bit, and the first thing I noticed was that I have 4 new charm notches, which is interesting. And there are these empty charm notches, just like ghost notches that they don't have anything here. That's kind of weird. But the other thing I noticed is that Tiso's here. He's in the Hall of Gods. That's kind of cool. But I'm not gonna fight him yet. You see, there was one problem. I had no idea what to do or where to go. I mean, I knew that the mod added new bosses to the game, but I had no clue where I would find them. I was at a standstill, a dead end, a stalemate, a gridlock, a quagmire, if you will. However, I did have one lead. So my first instinct is to go to the White Palace, because I feel like it'll probably be changed around there somewhere. There's gonna be something over there. And so, I left Godhome and headed off to the White Palace. I figured that if the 5 Great Knights were anywhere, they had to be there. It was just common knowledge. However, I foolishly overestimated the intelligence of the mod makers, because when I arrived, there was nothing at all. Zilch. And trust me, I looked. After a brief PTSD trigger thanks to the Path of Pain came and went, I began to think. Where else could these scumbags, these stinkers, these ragamuffins be hiding? I flipped through the pages of my brain for every inkling of lore knowledge I could find. I thought long and I thought hard. And by thought, what I really mean is I looked it up on Google. As it turned out, they were in Godhome, which was the very place I had just left. Frustrating. So, I made the long trek back through the waterways and finally arrived back in the Hall of Gods. But it says there's like a door or something in the Ogrim statue. Yup. That's definitely something. Now where am I? I defend true royalty from the claws of traitors. I stand guard at the gates of the capital. My blade rests among hidden graves and forgotten dreams. I lie in a lush grove defended by my beloved. But how am I supposed to unlock it? I don't understand. Maybe it's like I'm supposed to go to all of their locations or something. in throughout the game, you know?
Have you ever had a dream that you
I was getting a bit confused. I had downloaded this mod to fight new bosses, but so far it was seeming more and more like a walking simulator. To put it simply, I was hungry for blood. And so, I made a decision. You know what, let's fight Tiso. I'm gonna go ahead and fight Tiso. Vain God of Restless Challenge. Let's do this, let's fight Tiso. I'm thinking either he's like really, really easy or really, really hard. Oh, shoot. Oh my gosh! Tiso completely destroyed me. And not in a good way either. Something told me this boss was going to take a while, so I kept going. Taste my darts. Okay, buddy.
Well, look who it is. Snitch, leave me alone.
Well, you better taste, death. Yeah. Okay, he's not that bad. I just gotta get used to his moveset. I was running into a big problem while fighting him, and that was this attack right here. This single attack was infuriating me. Basically, how it works is Tiso, lets out a yell and bombs fall from the ceiling. There was no obvious way to dodge this attack easily, and as time went on, I was getting a bit annoyed. The glory, all mine. Yeah, it is kind of all yours right now. That's true. How am I supposed to dodge that? But that's when I realized something. My charm build was mainly focused around nail DPS and healing, but Tiso was moving so fast that he wasn't giving me any time to heal at all. There was no reason for me to have a healing charm equipped, so on a whim, I swapped it out for Shaman Stone. And that one decision changed everything, all thanks to Descending Dark. Descending Dark, or D-Dark, is one of the spells you can use in Hollow Knight, and it's incredibly useful because not only does it deal a lot of damage, it also gives you invincibility while granting the spell. Because of this, I now had a way to dodge Tiso's bomb attack. Whenever he yelled, I instantly used D-Dark right next to him, damaging him and allowing me to dodge every bomb that he threw at me. And less than an hour later, this happened. No clue exactly what the heck happened there, but the important thing was that Tiso had finally been defeated. After my first triumph, I felt great. But there was one thought tickling the back of my mind. If Tiso was this hard, then how hard would the other bosses be? After all, I hadn't even really started the real difficult bosses yet. But I wasn't going to give up just yet. 1 down, 4 to go. Okay guys, so what I'm thinking is, so I finally beat Tiso, but now I'm thinking maybe I have to, the way I unlock these 4 boss battles is by going to their respective locations in the game. Cause they all have a location where they are, the 4, all the 5 great knights. So I'm thinking maybe, for example, I want to try fighting Hegemol first, which is False Knight. So maybe if I go to False Knight's arena in the main area in Hallownest, then it'll somehow unlock Hegemol's boss battle. That's my thinking. And so, with a heart full of hope, I headed off to False Knight's arena in the Forgotten Crossroads. Alright, here I am. Where are you, Hegemol? Maybe I need to go to the entrance to the City of Tears where you put in the city crest. Maybe there's something over there? Wait a minute. Or maybe instead of trying to solve this puzzle, I can just Google do it for me and look it up. And that's pretty smart. After I finished looking up Hegemol's location, I found that I was in fact correct. He was at the main entrance to the City of Tears in the Fungal Wastes. So, I left for Queen's Station. Shoot, I completely forgot that I had that charm equipped. Holy cow, now I feel kind of bad. Sorry. I forgot that that's a feature that when I dash through bugs, it kills them. Oh my gosh, wait, now I feel bad. After mourning the loss of my poor mantis friend, I managed to pull myself together and continue on my way, eventually reaching the edge of the Fungal Wastes. I had finally reached Hegemol, and I was ready for my second boss fight. Alright. Finally made it. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, hey. It's Hegemol. Here he is. It's the big boy himself. Shoot. Hey, whoa, chill. Please chill. Ah! Despite my internal turmoil, my brain insisted that this boss was really very easy, gaslighting myself to no avail. Little did I know that this single boss would take me longer than almost all of the other bosses combined. Okay, he's just harder False Knight. I can manage this guy. This guy isn't that bad. I can totally beat this guy with a bit of practice. No matter how hard I tried to psych myself out of it, I was fighting way too aggressively. I tried to focus on dodging his attacks, but that was easier said than done. Hegemol hit fast, and he hit hard. I died again and again. But the truth was, I was getting annoyed. Eventually, I decided to get off for the day. I figured I would have better luck tomorrow. And the next day started off well. After a while, this happened. Ow. Okay, he staggers, that's good. I can probably get like one heal in. That's very useful to know that he staggers. It looks like he was going into some sort of stage or Mighty Hegemol's true difficulty was beginning to dawn on me. Another day passed, and then another, and then another. But it's cool how you can see all those creatures running around in the background, or like walking around in the background. That's just a neat little detail to the fight that I really enjoy. It kind of shows the kingdom of Hallownest in its peak. A nice little lore droplet. Finally, I decided to switch out my charm combo, but the nearest bench was far away, so I had to make it count. After all, I didn't want to be making this trip again and again. So what do you think I decided to switch? What could possibly be better than Shaman Stone? That's right, Mark of Pride. Arguably one of the most useless charms I could have in a situation like this. Not a great idea on my part. It didn't take me long before I realized what a dumb move this was, so I had to go all the way back to the bench and switch out my charm combo again. You really gotta admire the attention to detail in this mod. It's very impressive. Especially considering this is completely fan-made. All of this is fan-made. Like, that's crazy. Meanwhile, I was slowly but surely making progress with Mighty Hegemol. It was slow and agonizing, but over dozens upon dozens of attempts, I was slowly getting better and better. I even made it to phase 3 one time, but Hegemol just kept getting harder. It wasn't going down without a fight. Hegemol was hard, but he felt just barely doable. And as the days passed, I knew it was only a matter of time. And finally, one fateful afternoon, a week after my first attempt, this happened. Yes! Yes. Yes. Oh, Grim, after all that has happened, you hope still? I had finally defeated Mighty Hegemol, arguably the hardest boss in the mod, and I felt unstoppable. Not only that, but I had received my first new charm, the Boon of Hallownest. 2 down, 3 to go. But my troubles weren't over just yet, because later, I would run into a boss even harder. After my defeat, I wasn't sure which boss I wanted to bully next. I briefly considered Isma, but eventually I decided on the Grey Mourner, Ze'mer. and so I left for the resting grounds. However, I made a brief stop first to try out my new charm. A four charm notch charm doesn't support my combo at all, but I am interested to see. Whoa! Whoa! Oh. Okay, so I'm basically the pure vessel now. That's kind of cool. But I'd rather, I'm gonna use, Shaman Stone for now. Finally, I arrived at the Grey Mansion and got ready for another battle. Here's how my first attempt went. Where'd she go? Well, I guess just dream now this place right here. That did something. Is it just the same arena? Oh no, it's not the same arena. What was that? There she is. Hello, mysterious Ze'mer. Yo, whoa, chill. Does she have any stagger? It's gonna take a while. Ze'mer was intimidating at first, but after a while I began to realize that it was making things harder than they needed to be. She was quick on her feet and her big sword was pretty scary, but I noticed that she was a bit slow to attack. So slow, in fact, that if I was careful, I could even sneak in time to heal. I switched out Shaman Stone for quick focus, and that made things a lot easier. She does seem easier than Mighty Hegemol, but it really honestly is just going to depend on how much health she has. What if I do the Sly strat? I just keep walking toward her like this. I don't think the Sly strat's gonna work. And so I started to fight with a more aggressive approach, and that really helped things. It just kind of goes to show how every boss is played a little bit differently. I also started listening to a podcast, which definitely helped me pass the time. What? Yeah, I have a lot to say actually. A lot to say. How is that hygienic at all? Despite my growing concerns about the strange hygiene tactics of Reddit users as I listened to my podcast, I was getting better and better at Ze'mer. She had been a lot easier than Hegemol, and I knew I was getting close. And less than 24 hours later, this happened. Yet another boss had fallen to my unstoppable power. I felt myself gaining more and more momentum, like I was flying through these bosses. It seemed like I was finally out of the pit that mighty Hegemol had dug me into. Feeling bulletproof, I headed for the next boss. But little did I know that I was just about to run into my biggest roadblock yet. So I just beat a mysterious Ze'mer. That only took me a single day, while Hegemol took me a week, which is amazing. But now that that's over, I'm thinking I want to go for Isma next. Isma. I think it's Isma. I don't know. And so, I departed from the resting grounds for the royal waterways. The only problem was that Isma's grove was incredibly far from any bench. Like, I'm talking a 10-minute journey if you're going fast. Because of this, constantly switching out and experimenting with my charm combo was almost out of the question. This was going to make fighting Isma a lot harder. After trekking through spike-filled caverns, drowning cities, and tunnels full of poo, I finally reached Isma's grove. And when I finally did, my troubles were only beginning. This might be it. I think, yeah, I made it. Alright, let's do this. Whoa. This place looks pretty similar to, oh, it's Dung Defender. Hello. Kindly Isma. Whoa. Oh, this could be kind of difficult, actually. Something tells me this boss is gonna take a while. Yeah, I think so. Isma completely threw me off guard with her sheer difficulty. It was a curveball I wasn't expecting at all. In fact, I was anticipating for her to be the easiest of the bunch. But Isma was incredibly fast, teleporting around the arena in what felt like the blink of an eye. Her attacks were as quick as lightning, too. She didn't even stagger. And as if all that wasn't bad enough, all of the unnecessary enemies and obstacles on the walls and floor were making the fight a living hell. So I just realized something. You remember how I was stressing about, it's like I'm so far away from any bench? Because I realized that I can, I forgot about Emilita's room. I forgot that there was a secret passageway, and it's straight where yeah, as it turned out, I'd completely forgotten about the secret passage in Emilita's house that led straight from Isma's grove to the king's station. It was a pretty big relief remembering that a bench was so close, but at the same time it was pretty annoying how long it had taken me to find it. While I was there, I decided to try out the new charm I'd gotten after defeating Ze'mer. It was kinda cool, but I knew it wasn't going to help me at all in Isma's boss fight. I headed back to Isma's grove and kept attempting the boss again and again. I was getting pretty frustrated because I felt like I was making zero progress. Stupid plant girl. I hate all the plant girls. My school is flooded with them. Stupid plant girls who throw vines and spit acid at you. Gotta watch out for those girls. I'm a misogynist. I tried to dodge her attacks and wait for an opening, but she was incredibly unpredictable, and the enemies everywhere kept taking me off guard. But suddenly, this happened. I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I have always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this neighborly day. Oh, that's a new attack. Oh dear. Could you stop that, please? That's kind of scaring me. Oh, she made the arena smaller. Interesting, okay. Is this just half health? Okay. This new attack raised my spirits slightly because I took it as a sign that she was going into a second phase. But at the same time, it was a little worrying. How much health did Isma have? Had she just now reached half health? I think I'll look it up. But what I found was much worse than I ever could have imagined. What? Because apparently, Isma didn't have 2 phases. Oh no. She had 4. She didn't reach her second phase with 50% health like I was imagining. She reached it with 75% health. It had taken me dozens of attempts just to reach phase 2. And if each phase got progressively harder, how long would it take to reach her last phase? I was at a loss. At this rate, it would take me weeks to beat Isma, easily much longer than Mighty Hegemol took me. And so, on a whim, I made a decision. So I was thinking, this boss is taking me like a really, really long time. And there's only one other left, which is Dryya, after this boss. And I figured, since this is taking me such a long time, I might as well just go and fight Dryya, just to get her over with, so I can focus on Isma. So I think I'm gonna go fight Dryya. So I departed from Isma's Grove and went to the Queen's Gardens. It had been a while since I had been here, and as I traversed through the thorn-filled caverns, it felt as if I was regaining a new appreciation for this game. It helped me remember what it had been like to explore Hallownest for the first time. I haven't been back here in a while. This is honestly probably my favorite area in the game. Just the atmosphere is so cool. Kind of just like an overgrown place. I don't know. But eventually, I reached Trader Lord's arena, and after a short moment of silence for Cloth, I found Drya's corpse and dream nailed it. Time to fight Dryya. But before I entered Drya's arena, I found something really interesting. A secret room. Whoa. Oh hey, I can actually get on the ceiling. That's cool. Wait, there's a secret room? Bear witness to the power of a group united in mysterious cause. With this great feat finished, they may now rest. See you in the Abyss expansion. Actually, I'm just waiting for... Oh, wait, this is like messages from the... Oh my gosh. I'm truly grateful to have been a part of this incredible project. Still hard to believe that 4 years ago I struggled to even set up Visual Studio for modding. But now here I am, somehow being a part of all this cool stuff. Thanks for playing. It means a lot to all of us. Wow. Wow. It keeps going. Wait, this is amazing. It keeps going. It's like Spirit's Glade all over again. This is crazy. Wait, it just keeps going. It's kind of crazy to see how far things have come. A big congrats to the team. Okay, I'm sorry for calling you guys unintelligent. I was just a little angry. However, I foolishly overestimated the intelligence of the mod makers. because when I arrived, there was nothing at all. Zilch. Seeing all of these messages from the developers to me, the player, fueled me with determination. I could feel them next to me, as if they all had my back. It gave me the resolve to continue. I walked into Dryya's arena, fueled and ready to fight like a drunk raccoon. Fierce Dryya. Okay, she's not that bad. I can do this. I can manage this. Oh, and she staggers? Okay. She's not that bad. I can do this. Imagine if I beat her first try. That would be amazing. But probably not. Unless it looks like there's like a second phase. I'm locking in so hard right now. If I beat this first try, that's gonna be such a... Oh my gosh. That's gonna be such a cool plot point for my video. I can't move. Wait, I can't. It lagged a bit. Oh no, I'm at 2 hearts. No! Despite my disappointment that I failed to beat Dryya on my first try, I pushed on. I had come too far to give up now. Aw, man. That would have been so cool. Dryya was quick and aggressive, but her attacks were fairly easy to dodge. Because of this, I picked up the same aggressive strategy that had worked so well with Ze'mer. However, there was one small problem with this strategy. In Dryya's final phase, she quickly teleported around the arena and repeatedly attempted to slice me into sushi. She was moving so fast here that dealing damage to her without taking damage myself was practically impossible. But I had a plan. In times like these, there was only one feasible solution. Make like the Redditors from my podcast and neglect hygiene. I decided to unequip Quick Focus and swap it out for Steady Body, Rub Song, and most importantly, Defender's Crest. With these charms combined with a more aggressive approach, I finally got this run. Yes! Let's go. Oh my goodness, that was close. Hegemol, do you still stand guard, forever loyal to the capital's citizens? Oh no, he's dead. Dryya had gotten me down to a single heart, but I managed to defeat her. My aggressive strategy had worked, and now only one boss remained. Isma. I had defeated every other boss that this mod had to offer, and now, with the developers at my side, I felt as if I was finally ready. I arrived at Isma's grove and continued to attempt fighting Isma. At first it didn't go so well. All of the enemies were overwhelming me, and oftentimes I died to them before I could even deal much damage to Isma herself. As the hours went by, not only was I growing frustrated, but I was also growing bored. So bored, in fact, that I was resorting to all kinds of curious strategies to keep myself occupied, or more accurately, sane, one of which was singing. He wraps himself in light, The darkness tries to hide. They tremble at his voice, tremble at his voice. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God? And all will see how great is our God. I was beginning to get stage 2 consistently, but there was one problem. It was almost impossible to heal because there were 2 enemies on the ceiling that were constantly spitting projectiles at me. So I couldn't really stay in one place for more than a second. Not only that, but they were invincible, so I couldn't even kill them. Eventually, I decided to switch out Quick Focus yet again for Shape of Moon and Grub Song. And as it turned out, that was probably the right call, because almost immediately after, this happened. Oh wait, what? That's new. The walls changed. Is that phase 3? Yo, I think that might be phase 3. And I'm dead. And so I continued. But there was yet another problem. I was selling. I couldn't get consistent at all. One attempt I would be low-key kind of cooking, but the next I would be fumbling harder than Hornet and Green Path. I felt like I was going crazy. But as I continued to attempt the boss over and over again, I began to consider whether I was thinking about this fight all wrong. I was focused on trying to react quickly to all their attacks and stay quick on my feet, but maybe the secret was just to avoid moving around too much and prioritize using space effectively. And so, I began to formulate a new strategy. Instead of running quickly to dodge all of her attacks and beat her with a weapon, I stayed in the corner and tried to move less. This way, the enemies couldn't really attack me and I could focus on Isma. And it was working. With this new strategy, I was getting better and better at the first phase. I was beginning to feel more confident, and with each attempt I went farther and farther into the boss. I knew it was only a matter of time. And finally, one day, this happened. I had done it. I had beaten not only Isma, but every single boss this mod had to offer. Timmy Tough Knuckles, Mighty Hegemol, Mysterious Ze'mer, Fierce Dryya, and Kindly Isma had all fallen. With this great feat over, I may now finally rest. Victorious, I decided to go back to the same place I was at the beginning of the video, the Hall of Gods. I entered Ogrim's statue, wondering what would be there to face me now that I had beaten all of the bosses. Oh, I can sit here now. Answer the champion's call? I guess. So am I back in? Dong Defender? Fighting Ogrim was probably the last thing I was expecting to do at the moment, but I had beaten him countless times on countless difficulties, and it didn't seem like it would be a problem for me. Until this happened. Well, that was... What? Wait, I have to fight both of them at the same time? Oh shit, I'm gonna die. What was that? Confused, I decided to Google the champion's call and hopefully figure out what was going on. But what I found was more shocking than I ever could have imagined. Hollow Knight Pale Court. What is the champion's call? The champion's call is the ultimate boss. Oh, wait, it's a boss rush? I'm supposed to fight all 5 of them out in a row? Oh, no thanks. Unlike some of you Discord mods, I actually have a life. I'm not doing that.